Hi everyone, Crista Cowan here with another episode of The Barefoot Genealogist. Today we are going to be short and sweet, but what we are going to talk about is the interactive image viewer available when you're viewing documents on Ancestry. Now I'm going to walk you through all of the things that you can do in the image viewer in just a few minutes, but the only thing I need you to really remember out of today is if there's an icon, click on it and see what happens. Don't be afraid to explore all of the tools that we've given you in order to make the most out of your image viewing experience. Let's go ahead and dive in. Now, when I talk about the image viewer on Ancestry, specifically what I'm talking about is when you're on any record in Ancestry, if there is a view image button over here, always use it. That's going to take you to an original copy of the image where it exists. Now, Ancestry doesn't have original images for everything. We only have original images where the archive or the library or whatever the record repository is has made those available to us. So we do have images for things like passenger lists, draft cards, city directories, and census records. Let's start with a census record just because it's going to be probably the most easy and the one that you're going to be the most familiar with. The first thing you're going to want to do or notice here is that on the census records in particular, we've added some enhanced experiences. These have been around for a little while, but some of you may not have noticed or know what they mean. The yellow line means that this is the person you searched for, and then the green lines are the other people in the household of that individual. So that just gives you a little bit of focus there. Now, I can use these little plus and minus icons over here to zoom in, and one of the things that you're going to notice is that as I zoom in, I get some information over here on the left and some information across the top of my screen. Those have been added intentionally so that you know what the name is of the person whose line you're on. It allows you to scroll your way across the image and still stay with that particular family or still know whose name it is that this information pertains to. The lines across the top of the image function as column headers. So they just tell you that this is the father's birthplace, this is the mother's birthplace, this is the birthplace of that individual, whatever that column means. So it's just a way to keep track of information as you zoom in without having to scroll back up and down the image a whole lot. Now, that feature is only available on census records, not just US Census Records, but UK and Canadian Census Records as well. And we are looking at ways to implement that in other collections, but right now that's where you're going to find that information most often. So use those little plus and minus tools to zoom in and out, and you can zoom way in order to read the information. Just make sure that once you zoom in, you read the whole image. One of the things we've discovered is that some of you zoom in, you capture that piece of information you were looking for, and then you forget to zoom back out or scroll your way around that particular image. Now, if you need more screen real estate, this top icon up here on the right allows you to just make that particular image full screen. It removes the browser skin from around that image, so it gives you a little bit more room depending on the size of your monitor. If I just click that to toggle it back and forth, you can see how that's going to function. Okay. We can remove some of that screen real estate for some of the functionality here. So down here at the bottom, where you see the image number that you're on out of how many images in this particular section, you do have that show index button. That's going to pop up the index for this particular record, so it was keyed or indexed so that you could search it. That's also where you're going to be able to switch focus person. So if you've been working with a family and then you look and notice that that's another member of your same family is in a different household, you can click on that and you'll notice that changes the focus person up here at the top and the yellow highlight on the image. That's going to allow you to save it to the correct person in your tree. So you don't have to go back out and search for that person in order to save that record to that particular individual or that particular family. Just click on them here in the index. It changes the focus person, and now you can go save that record to whoever that person might be in your tree. So that's one of the uses for the index. The other icon down here at the bottom is the film strip icon. Now this maybe not as useful in a census collection, but if you're looking through passenger lists, if you're looking through city directories in particular, as a matter of fact, if I hop over here to a city directory image, most city directories are arranged alphabetically. City directories are OCR'd, which means that a computer did the indexing. And depending on how clean the image is and how well formatted, the OCR may be of better or lesser quality. And so sometimes it's really useful to actually browse through the city directories. Using the film strip just allows me to quickly jump to a particular section of the alphabet or to see where it is that I need to be in order to look at the images that I want to look at. So that's how I use the film strip view. Clicking it again hides it. So you can show it or hide it. And again, I encourage you to play with these icons so that you can see what it is that they do. Now, the other two icons that we have over here on the side panel on the right, if we look at the little hammer and wrench, those are our tools, our image tools. So that's where you're going to be able to print that particular image. You can download it if you want to keep a copy on your computer. You can share it, and then when I click that share button, it gives me some additional options to share it on Facebook or through Google Plus or via email with anyone. You can share it with anyone. The person does not have to be a current subscriber of Ancestry to see that image. You can rotate the image. Sometimes I've seen things written sideways on an image, and so you need to rotate it so that you can read it a little better. Flip it. You can also invert the colors. Now this is particularly useful if you're reading like old parish registers or even sometimes those census records when they're really faint or difficult to read. Just invert those colors, turn that into a negative, and sometimes it makes it a little bit more legible. Then there's some additional settings there that you can use. There's also a tool there or a link there to report any problems with this image. Ancestry does keep a log of those so that we can fix those as necessary. The last icon here on the right-hand side is our pop-out side panel here. So it's just a little arrow that has a little panel with it, and you can pop that panel out or you can pop that panel back in. Now what's over here in the window is going to be the detail about this record. So typically it's going to be the information that was indexed. There's 3 tabs here. The second tab is going to be a related tab. Related is where you're going to see who else has saved that particular record. So this specific World War I draft card or this specific census record for this person, not just the image, but the actual record. And so you can see who has saved it and what tree that they have saved it in. So if you just move your mouse over any one of those icons, you can click to go to the person's profile to see who they are, the individual who saved it, or you can click to go to the tree that they saved that image to. And that allows you to see who else is connecting with some of those people you're connecting with. We also have our suggested records panel. This is going to be the same as the suggested records panel on the index page, but it's an easier, quicker way to get to it when you're actually in the image to see what other records have been saved to this person. So if this record has been saved to an individual in a tree, in any tree on Ancestry, here are the other records that have also been saved to that particular individual. So it's just a quick way to access those. And then the final tab there on the side is the source information. So that gives you the complete source citation. You can select it all and then copy if that's how you do your sourcing. It's up to you. Last couple of things I want to share with you here. Let's go back here, and we're going to minimize all of our stuff. We do have the image viewer, the forward and backward image icons. They have now been moved up to the center side of the page. A lot of you didn't see them down here at the bottom or didn't like the real estate that they were taking up, and so we've just moved them to be these little transparent icons here on the side so you can go forward or backward as necessary with your image. Up here in the top, you're going to see another option to save. You can save this record to someone in your tree, save it directly as a download to your computer, or save it to your shoebox. And finally, if you'll notice here, we have the return of the breadcrumbs. So for those of you who do a lot of image browsing, you can see exactly what the browse structure is that got you here. And if you want to look at, for example, if I was doing city directory research in Columbus and I just finished 1927 and I want to move on to 1928, I can do that. And it will just jump me to the next collection of records in that particular set. So really useful little tool. And then of course the final icon is the one here that jumps me right back to my index page. Well, that is all I have for you today. I told you it was short and sweet. Hopefully that was useful. But again, remember, my number one advice for you is when you're viewing any images in Ancestry, just be willing to click on all those icons, explore them a little bit, see what they do for you so that you can figure out what works best for you and your work style as you continue to research your family history. Until next time, this is Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.